The night shift at Germaine Hospital was both a place and a rhythm. The sterile corridors hummed like a machine that never stopped, its heartbeat steady with the sounds of beeping monitors, shuffling slippers, and quiet prayers. In the East Wing, known for housing long-term patients, the halls felt heavier. Death often lingered here, but some patients resisted its pull with a mysterious kind of strength. Talia Reyes, 28 and barely 6 months into her nursing career, was learning that there were things textbooks never taught. Life didn't always end quietly or quickly. Sometimes it waited. Sometimes it clung to the body until the soul found peace. Her shoes squeaked against the polished linoleum as she walked past nurses chatting at the central desk. "You're heading to 207? Marlene, a seasoned nurse with 30 years under her belt, asked while sipping coffee from a chipped mug that read, "Flu Shot Queen." "Yeah, Albert Kessler," Talia replied, scanning her clipboard. "Good luck with that one," Marlene smirked. "He's a real character. Doesn't talk much. Doesn't eat. But he refuses to die." Talia nodded. She'd heard the rumors. Albert had been at Germaine for almost 5 months. No family. No visitors. Just a dwindling chart and a stubborn heartbeat. She knocked gently before entering room 207. Albert Kessler lay still in the hospital bed, eyes open, gazing at the ceiling as though watching ghosts dance across it. His skin was thin, pale, paper-like. Veins ran beneath, like blue rivers. "Good evening, Mr. Kessler. I'm Talia, your night nurse," she said softly. He blinked slowly, then turned his eyes to her. They were a pale gray, sharp despite the weakness in his frame. "Not yet," he whispered. Talia paused in the doorway. "Sorry? Not until we eat." She frowned, unsure if she'd heard him right. "Did you say until we eat?" Albert didn't respond. His head turned back to the ceiling. The moment passed. She approached quietly, checking his vitals. They were declining, but steady enough to survive another night. She adjusted his blanket, straightened the tubes connected to his oxygen supply. Just as she turned to leave, he spoke again. "You look just like her." She turned back. "Like who?" He closed his eyes for a moment. "Celina." Talia hesitated. "Was she your daughter?" "No," he rasped. "She was someone I left behind." A small silence grew between them. Talia wasn't sure what to say. Finally, she nodded and left the room, his words echoing in her mind. Later that night, she returned. Something about his comment unsettled her. A patient near death mentioning someone by name, it wasn't uncommon. But the look in his eyes when he said Celina made it feel different. She checked the drawer in his bedside table. Inside was a black and white photograph. A young woman sat in a diner booth, laughing, her hands wrapped around a steaming bowl of stew. The image was worn, creased at the edges. On the back, in faded ink, were the words, "Come back so we can finish this." The next day, Talia showed the photo to Marlene. "You ever seen this woman before?" she asked. Marlene squinted. Could be a sweetheart from his past. He's been here a while, and no one's come to see him. Maybe he's clinging to a memory. He said something about not dying until they eat together." Marlene sighed. "I've seen people hang on for stranger reasons. Some wait for forgiveness. Some for birthdays. One woman refused to go until her cat was brought to the hospital. And when we smuggled that cat in, she passed away an hour later." Talia couldn't shake the feeling. That photograph. That bowl of stew. The way Albert's voice trembled. She looked up the ingredients of traditional shrimp and tomato-based stews. Something spicy, rich, full of memory. That night, she returned to his room. "Mr. Kessler?" His eyes opened slowly. She handed him the photo. He gripped it like a fragile treasure. "You miss her," Talia said. "Every day," he replied. "We fought before I left. I said I'd come back, and we'd finish our meal. But I never made it home in time." "What did she cook?" "Shrimp stew," he whispered. "Spicy. With tomato, garlic, ginger. I remember every bite." Talia hesitated, then made a decision. "What if I cooked it for you?" Albert blinked. Tears filled his eyes. "If I eat it again with you, maybe then I can let go." The next morning, Talia didn't go straight to work. Instead, she drove to her Aunt Laura's house across town. Her aunt had raised her after her adoption and was the closest thing to a mother she had ever known. "Morning, darling. This early? What's wrong?" Talia pulled out the photo. "Do you recognize her?" Laura stared at it for a long moment. Then she gasped, "That's Celina." Talia's heart pounded. "Celina? My birth mother?" Laura nodded. "She used to make a stew just like that. Shrimp, spicy tomato broth, with lime and coriander. People used to say it could cure heartbreak." "Did she know someone named Albert?" Laura paused. "I think so. She spoke about a man. A soldier. Said he left and promised to return, but never did. She was pregnant when he left." Talia felt her world tilt. She took a breath. "Albert Kessler is my patient." That evening, she poured her heart into cooking. She followed her aunt's instructions, blending garlic and tomatoes, searing shrimp, letting the stew simmer. She added spices with care, tears falling into the steam. By midnight, she stood in room 207 again. Albert's eyes fluttered open. The smell of the stew filled the air. He inhaled deeply and sobbed. "You made it." Talia sat beside him, opened the thermos, and poured the stew into a bowl. She lifted a spoon. He tasted it, then closed his eyes. "That's it. That's the one." Talia asked, "What happened to Celina?" "She died before I could come back," he whispered. "I found out too late. Her child was placed for adoption. I searched, but I never found her." She swallowed hard. "My name is Talia Reyes. I was adopted as a baby. My birth mother was Celina Kessler." His eyes widened. A tear escaped. "Then you're her daughter." He broke down. "I thought I'd lost everything." Talia reached into her bag and handed him her adoption papers. His name wasn't there, but Celina's was. "I didn't know until today," she whispered. He looked at her, his frail hand reaching out. "This meal, with you, it's more than I ever deserved." Talia fed him another bite. He chewed slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. "You're my second chance," he said. The following evening, Albert's condition worsened. His pulse weakened. His breathing was shallow. Talia requested to stay past her shift. She brought another bowl of stew, still warm. Her hands shook as she entered. Albert smiled weakly. "You came." "Of course. We haven't finished our meal." She fed him a spoonful. He closed his eyes as he savored the flavor. "You know, I wrote her letters. Dozens. But she never wrote back. I didn't know they never reached her." "She died thinking you abandoned her," Talia said, tears sliding down her cheeks. "I never stopped looking. When I saw you that first night, I knew, not just in my heart, in my bones. And now," he took a deep breath, "now I know love forgives." Talia fed him another bite, then took one herself. "You made me feel like I belonged," she said. He squeezed her hand. "You are my family." His eyes grew heavy. He took one final bite. "Now I can go full." The monitor beeped once, then flatlined. Talia didn't cry right away. She just sat there holding his hand, the bowl between them still warm. A month later, a package arrived at Talia's door. Inside was a letter. "Talia, if you're reading this, it means I found peace. I wanted to say goodbye properly, but even one bite with you gave me a lifetime of joy. You brought me home. I've enclosed the photo. I updated it. With love, Grandpa Al." She opened the envelope. The photo from the diner was still there, but now, drawn gently beside Celina, was Talia. The three of them, smiling. One family. He didn't die hungry. He died home. The end. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share for more interesting stories.